god such as yourself feel fear?
He talks so much crap.
He does. Vegeta talks crap all day long. Very rarely can actually back it up, though.
Welcome to the Random Onion, and usually we do like movie reviews and whatnot. Today we're going to be reacting to some stuff. It's time for a death battle.
Yes. So this one, we were looking over videos to potentially watch, and this one caught our eye. It is Thor versus Vegeta, which is great for me because I've been watching DBZ Abridged. DBZ Abridged, yes, but I've also been watching DBZ Kai. I'm very much familiar with a lot of Vegeta's feats right now.
Yeah, I've never even seen DBZ. I've seen some of the abridged stuff, but that's about it.
The abridged stuff is real fun. You
Yeah.
should watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it was. I remember it being kind of funny.
Hey, that was
It's time for a death battle!
Okay, so now we're getting into Thor versus Vegeta. We're jumping straight into the fight here.
Well, before we get started, like, at first glance,
Yeah.
you thought that Vegeta
I would
win
think
this?
Vegeta would win.
I thought Vegeta would win, too, just because he's a Dragon Ball Z character, and those are supposed to be, like, super OP. And
OP doesn't even describe. I mean, especially if
Yeah.
you get into, like, Super, where their powers have gone literally insane, because there's literally Super Saiyan gods and all kinds of weird shit that they're doing.
yeah. But yeah, no, here is Thor versus Vegeta.
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
I did it better.
You did do it better.
Look at that man.
Here's the thing I find weird about Death Battle is I get that they do it this way.
Oh, there,
The pixel art versus
What
like the full
business
3D
havest
art.
thou on
Yeah.
Earth?
But I prefer the 3D art a lot more than the pixel art. The pixel art makes me think that they didn't
Polishing
really
my gloves
care.
upon your face!
It's a budget thing, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure that's the same guy who does the voice of Vegeta in Abridged.
Did that count? Thou fightst well for a mortal. Alas, you face a god.
Can you pull that out of his butt?
Might as well. Right?
I have evolved beyond gods.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is Vegeta. Super Saiyan Blue is past Super Saiyan God, so he literally has evolved beyond a god. That's 100% true.
And the prince of all Saiyans! And you can burn in hell! Big Bang attack!
He's not worthy.
Yeah, Vegeta would not be worthy to wield Mjolnir.
Mew Mew!
Tell me, does a god such as yourself feel fear?
He talks so much crap.
He does. Vegeta talks crap all day long. Very rarely can actually back it up, though.
No fear, only
Thor is not this fast.
I mean, I guess they'll explain everything at the end of the video.
Yeah. Now, we didn't mention this before we started the video. We are skipping all of the initial stuff
Yeah,
when
the
they talk
initial
about it. We're jumping
analyzing.
straight to this. We're jumping straight to the fight with this one.
Actually, it's Asgard.
Oh, I get it.
Okay, before we get into their explanation, I call bullshit. I am going to dislike this video. There. All right. Anything you want to say? We can go into their explanation of it.
No,
Okay.
I like Thor more than Vegeta, so I don't care.
I like both of them, honestly, but Vegeta is it's way too powerful for Thor.
Because he's a natural blonde.
Despite Vegeta's immense power and tenacity, the God of Thunder had him outmatched in several key areas.
First off, the big one, who was stronger.
Despite being up against the God of Strength, Vegeta actually matched up pretty closely with Thor. Both could output power far in excess of destroying a single universe.
It's always tough to get an exact number for Dragon Ball Super's most powerful characters, but we can combine the size of Universe 7 with multipliers from Vegeta's transformations to get a rough estimate.
It's important to note that Ultra Ego's power boost has never been stated, but we do know that Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta were roughly even in power. When Goku applied a Kaioken times 20 boost to fight Jiren, Vegeta kept up after going Blue Evolved, implying that both increases in power are roughly the same increase. Similarly, Blue Vegeta matched base Top, and needed Blue Evolved to keep up with Top's God of Destruction form, which is extremely similar to Ultra Ego in theme and purpose. Given this is the best current example of a measurable form akin to Ultra Ego, we can assume that Ultra Ego's boost in power, at least initially, could be extremely similar in terms of a percentage increase, making Ultra Ego's original state about 20 times more powerful than Blue Evolved. With that in mind, Vegeta at his peak could destroy a universe roughly 260,000 times over.
And Thor was pretty close to that. Taking a look at the Marvel Universe's size, which has a radius of at least 1 trillion light years, as well as scaling to the Worldbreaker Hulk, Thor ended up only about 10 times stronger.
Not terribly different.
Only
and it's
10
definitely
times
possible
stronger.
that his power could increase during the fight to match it.
But even if he was stronger, it wasn't the only thing that mattered. Ultra Ego's damage absorption could only do so much against an opponent like Thor.
Vegeta may have trained as a warrior from birth, but Thor has been fighting for millennia against a much wider variety of foes, allowing him to adapt to Vegeta fairly easily.
And the fact that Thor was way faster gave him a lot of leeway to use that extra combat experience.
Applying Vegeta's transformation multipliers to the shockwaves from Goku and Beerus' punches, Vegeta should be able to fight at nearly 300 quintillion times the speed of light.
But scaling to Ares moving within blink time, Thor would be over 70 quadrillion times faster.
More than fast enough to avoid Vegeta's key attacks, and even more importantly, absorb all of them with Mjolnir. This alone could shut down all of Vegeta's ranged attacks.
Sure, Veggie could absorb it back with Spirit Vision, but he'd have to hit Thor first, and with that much of a speed difference, that's easier said than done. And since Thor can just will the energy out of somebody, he could just take it right back, and then some.
Even without absorption, Vegeta's key reserves are not infinite, and many of his battles have ended with him at low energy. He was exhausted by
That's
the end
true.
of the Tournament of Power, which lasted about 1 hour in total.
Meanwhile, Thor fought an army for over a month straight.
Theoretically, Vegeta could have ended the fight immediately with Hakai, if not for the fact that Thor has resisted existence erasure before, including physically, spiritually, and temporally.
Meanwhile, Vegeta had no way to match the God Blast, which could have killed friggin' Galactus. And that guy has threatened the infinite multiverse with destruction just as a side effect of his battles. That's a level of power beyond anything we've seen in Dragon Ball yet, let alone Vegeta.
Vegeta
It just
was
goes to
never
show
going
you
go
how
down easy.
broken comic book scaled characters are.
That's literally what I was about to say. It's just like what this really is an exercise in someone wrote down that this person is so much more powerful, then therefore it's true.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you just write down, oh yeah, I can do this. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know they try to do it by the numbers that they come up with, but I mean, it's like comic book characters are very inconsistent too. So like one moment Thor can be like insanely powerful, and I'm willing to bet an insanely powerful Thor would probably win this fight.
Yeah.
But then the next run of Thor, he could be insanely nerfed too. So it's just with the consistencies. I get what they're doing. They're putting the real powerful up. They also do Thor versus Wonder Woman, and that one's very interesting. But
see, that one I would expect Thor to win.
He doesn't,
and he doesn't.
He doesn't. Yeah,
interesting.
But DC characters are broken, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. Comic book characters are broken in general, like we were saying. And that's, I personally, just from background, I know virtually nothing about comics.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a comic. I've watched more anime, I've watched more of the cartoons and stuff like that, but I've never really dug into the anime.
Good contrast on videos like this, because I know a lot more about comics and you know a lot more about anime.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, okay, I don't know. It frustrates me to no end that they can just decide, okay, this run of comics had this thing mentioned that he could go 10 quadrillion times or quintillion times the speed of light, so therefore Vegeta is slower. I don't know. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's like maybe they're mentioning the Thor from that particular run, but then they use feats from other runs to do it too.
That's the thing. Vegeta has been consistent throughout all of Dragon Ball,
except for one big story, no reboots,
except for GT. Technically, Super is a reboot.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Super is a reboot because they did Dragon Ball Z and then there's Dragon Ball GT, which everyone collectively hated. So they decided that that's no longer canon, and then they switched to Super. Which is funny because there's a Super Saiyan 4 version. Goku, he basically becomes the monkey god, what we were just talking about.
Oh, Sun Wukong?
Sun Wukong. He basically becomes that. He's got like pink, he gets covered in pink fur and he has black eyes. I'm pretty sure Vegeta actually goes Super Saiyan 4 as well. It's been a long time since I watched GT. Yeah. But, I mean, I can't fault their logic if this is the logic they're going off of. I just think that they should focus more in on what's...
one particular version of the character.
Yeah, find one version of the character and focus on that version, whichever one is the most powerful. Because if you're going to pull from different sources, it just kind of ruins the entire thought process of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with it.
And that's the thing I don't like about Death Battle in general, is that that's what they've always done. There's always one character that is just... They try and make it look like it's going to be evenly matched, but then it's actually not. There's one character that has some random feat that completely outperforms the other character in every way.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about like death battles in general, though, is there's always something.
Yeah,
there's always something. Like Batman versus Spider-Man. You know, Batman can bring all these tools and whatever, and they were like, well, Spider-Man has that spider sense, so there's no way he's going to be able to sneak up on him to even scratch him.
This is true. Also, Spider-Man, I didn't realize it until the Marvel movies. I didn't know that Spider-Man was also ridiculously strong.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Because it's Civil War when Spider-Man comes out first time, and he's like, Tony is meeting with Tom Holland, Peter Parker, and shows him a video of him stopping a car. And I was like, can Spider-Man stop a car that?
Yeah. Spider-Man used to be able to lift up a building at one point in time. He was real strong.
Which is just another version of like, honestly, I think that characters, the more powerful they get, the more boring they get, which is actually why I don't like Dragon Ball Z Super.
You know, sir, you say that, but I'm a really big Superman fan. But I didn't used to be. But his story is not really centered on like his strength. It's about, kind of becoming human, I guess.
Right.
Well, anyways, this has been the Random Onions reaction to Thor versus Vegeta, the death battle. Thor won. Yeah,
Thor won. I will say, Vegeta does have a history of losing. Almost every fight. The only time he constantly wins is in the Frieza saga when they're on Namek, and it's just because he kills all of Frieza's goons, basically. But other than that, Vegeta gets his ass kicked all the time, but that doesn't stop me from loving him. I love Vegeta. But if that was at all interesting to you, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I do recommend going and watching the original video. I call bullshit.